our units does not belong to us, but to the men and women who previously served in our unit, and especially to those who gave their lives while serving in our units. As living members, our job is to ruthlessly defend that reputation, hoping to be worthy successors of their legacy. I suspect many in this audience know all too well the sacrifices of these men and women. They remain in our thoughts beyond days like today, and they are forever memorialized in our hearts as our family, our friends, and our heroes. I'll tell you, one of the luxuries we enjoy as Marines is that we have no shortage of heroes. Our history is replete with examples, and that heritage, along with our ethos, is tattooed on our hearts in places like MCRD San Diego, Parris Island, South Carolina, or Quantico, where officers are made. We commit to memory heroes like Gunnery Sergeant John Basilone, who earned the Medal of Honor fighting for 3 days straight on Guadalcanal. Gunnery Sergeant Basilone went on to fight on Iwo Jima, where he was killed and posthumously awarded the Navy Cross. And we remember Second Lieutenant John Bobo, who won the Medal of Honor in Vietnam after being mortally wounded. He knew he wouldn't make it back to safety and ordered his men to retreat while he stayed behind alone to fight the North Vietnamese. And we more recently remember Medal of Honor winner Corporal Jason Dunham, who deliberately threw himself under the day to save his Marines in Iraq. These are all heroes, no doubt. But today, if you will indulge me just for a few minutes, I'd like to introduce you to another Marine whom I promised myself I would never forget. Today seems like an appropriate time for you to get to know him. He is a Marine that you will not recognize, but like so many others, I think he is deserving of our acknowledgement and recognition on this Memorial Day. His name was Lance Corporal Michael Postal. He was a gung-ho infantry Marine from Glen Oaks, New York. Michael graduated Martin Van Buren High School in Queens Village, New York. He joined the Marines right out of high school. He was so determined to join our band of brothers, he lost 50 pounds just to get on those yellow footprints in Parris Island, South Carolina. While in high school, Michael participated in a police department education program. He told his dad that his goal was to be a military policeman in the Marines. And in true Marine Corps fashion, we made him an infantryman. Many of you get that. So that's sort of an inside joke, I think. Michael's dad described him as a good kid who always kept in touch and did everything with pride. His father described him as his best friend. Michael and I served together in Lima Company, 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines. I got to be his company commander. He, I'm sure, had the displeasure of being one of the clerks working in my command post. But on February 29, 2004, it was a leap year, we deployed to Haiti with 16 hours notice to prevent a rebel force from seizing the capital of Haiti. The rebels seized the city of Cap-Haïtia the day prior and vowed to take Port-au-Prince the following day. Unfortunately for them, the Marines were going to get a vote. And like most Marines, Michael was ready to get out the door and excited to be called to action. It was an operation that most have likely never heard about. As you might imagine, it was overshadowed by wars in Iraq and Afghanistan at the time. Michael was like many young Marines, quiet, professionally curious, friendly, and proud. He was a good friend to others and would never deny help to fellow Marines. As one of the few drivers in our company, Michael was routinely asked to support patrols and only said no when we forced him to sleep. Michael seemed to be a magnet for trouble. He had a knack for finding himself in the middle of firefights, so much that the Marines kept asking to take him on patrol. This is probably counterintuitive to most, but you have to understand that Marines naturally move to the sound of the guns. One night, Michael drove into an ambush and, seeing no other option, used his vehicle as a rolling screen so the dismounted Marines could use it as cover to get out of the kill zone. And Michael didn't think anything of it. He was just protecting his buddies. Well, Michael and I later deployed to Al Anbar province in Iraq He remained with Lima Company. I moved up to the regiment. Both of us were training Iraqi security forces at the time. He was in a little town called Karma. I was in a little town called Fallujah. On May 7, 2005, a few Marines from the company tracked me down. They were upset and told me that Michael got caught in another ambush. The Marines told me that although Michael was mortally wounded, his first instinct was not to check himself or to treat himself. His first instinct was to get out from behind the wheel, run around the vehicle, and check on his buddies. Michael died on the way to the hospital that day, along with 2 buddies. He was 21. Now I tell you this story because Michael is quite the opposite of the Marines we learn about in recruit training and officers candidate school in Quantico. Michael was not a commander, a famous commander. He was not larger than life. He was not a legend. Michael struggled with his weight. He wore thick glasses. He probably wouldn't have been on any Marine posters. He didn't receive medals for his actions. And like so many others, he won't be mentioned in widely distributed history books. He is, by all accounts, though, a hero to me, and someone for whom I can give my finest compliment, which is to say, he was a good Marine. I'd like to think he'd be proud to know that we remember as such today. Lance Corporal Michael Postal represents the character, patriotism, and spirit of countless Americans throughout history who traded their life without fanfare, sacrificing for their buddies, ultimately in the defense of our Constitution and a nation that they so dearly loved. He represents a powerful spirit that is hard to articulate and perhaps even harder to understand if you have never served in uniform. Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said, "Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them." And this is unfortunately truer today. About 0.5% of Americans make up our military today, as opposed to 12% in World War II. Most do not know anyone in uniform,